Alrighty, guys. I think we need to talk a little bit about the celebrity Dr. Oz. Now, not about all of the terrible medical misinformation that he delivers to people on a daily basis on his show. No, not that. Though, certainly, that's a conversation we could be having. No, I want to talk about something that he's trying to do on his political platform now, which, some of you may note is a little bit dumb. But we'll get to that in just a minute. First of all, hi, is it masturbation no, we're not thinking about that. Anyway, this one is from Vexley, said, edgy slime cat, ha 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 ha. Jeebus Christ said, also, here's a lazy recolor too, I guess. I mean, canonically, the skin can be whatever color I damn well please it to be. So, that said, thank you very much for, that. That will totally not be an outfit that I commissioned for my character at some point, for reasons. The next one we have here is from Lecky. Thank you very much for this one. No actual context was given for this one. And the last one we have here is from Lore Does Art, said, blep time. Okay, I like the detail for this one. This looks like a really high quality emote. Stop says, I've drawn that answer. Yes, I'm aware. Technically, if you look hard enough on the internet, that answer exists for my character in porn form. Not what we're here to discuss right now. Sussy Cats, thank you for resubscribing. As always, everyone, thank you all for your fan art submissions. If you want your fan art to be shown in a future video, the best way to do so is to drop it to the fan art section of the Discord. With that said, if you haven't subscribed already, please consider doing so. And check out the Patreon if you want behind-the-scenes access to stuff that goes on behind the scenes on the channel. That said, let's go ahead and get into it. You know, let's just hear. Let's just hear.
I don't think you ought to hire smokers. I know it's hard to do. 21 states in this country allow private companies not to hire smokers. 29 don't. I appreciate you've all been through this in this conversation. It is, from my perspective, indefensible for us to spend 15% more money at the same time letting people hurt themselves.
So, should we just let that one sit there? Splitter Kid, thank you for redeeming your points for an owl. Also, we have an armistice now, thanks to Splinter Kid. Thank you very much for that. Red Joker, thank you for redeeming your points for an... you fucking degen. All right, let's get a couple things out of the way. I'm going to say this as somebody who detests smoking. I'm going to get this out of the way. I detest smoking. I think it is an absolutely disgusting habit. I think the way it smells is goddamn atrocious. It's ridiculously unattractive. And also, lung cancer fucking blows. And I literally cannot see somebody doing it without thinking of lung cancer because of how many people in my family have died from it. However, I think holding up the position that jobs should not hire people just because they smoke is stupid. Velis, thank you very much for the tier 1 subscription. Thank you very much for that. But yeah, choosing not to hire someone just because they smoke, I think is stupid. Because when you are making that distinction, when you are making cigar smoke about it, I don't care. I don't care. It's all gross. It is all gross. However, if you are a business and you are choosing to hire somebody, you can choose to hire whoever you want, but I think firing people or locking them out of employment because they smoke, which is an addiction, which for most people does not affect their job performance, is untenable. It's dumb. And yet, this is a thing that Dr. Oz seems to want to do. And I didn't know about this until recently. So this is when Obama was president? Yes, I am aware. This is a very old one. But this is a thing that I had not actually seen where he was concerned for a very long time. Like, I know that there's a lot of shit Mehmet Oz does, not Mehmet Oz, Mehmet Oz does that is very, very, like, unencourageable. This is one of those things that I wonder if he still supports now. So giving smokers smoke breaks, but not letting non-smokers break does encourage smoking. That's why I think just letting people take those breaks in general would be better. Mehmet Oz. Yeah, I'm just gonna call him Mehmet Oz. I don't care that much. I don't care that much. But you gotta think, this is somebody who is currently running right now to be in American politics. I wonder if this is still a position that he would hold for all of those people who work right now who would want to have him represent them in Congress.
We have to be smarter than this. For every complex solution or rather every complex problem is an easy solution. It's usually wrong. In this case, we actually have a solution that's going to be complex, but will work.
The solution's not complex, though. That wasn't a complex solution. Oz, you have a complex problem, people smoking in the workplace. That's not a simple problem, it's a complex problem. It's a problem that has many layers to it. People having, how do you divvy up breaks? How do you handle them on medical insurance? Like, there's a lot of complex things that go into this, but you did not give a complex solution. You gave a simple one. Just yeet. You just meet. So he doesn't have a doctor's license anymore? Well, of course he doesn't even need one anymore, right? Like, he became a celebrity. He makes money off of TV show appearances now. He doesn't need to actually do the type of work that he did before. Now he just needs to be on shows. Said he can't legally use the title doctor. That's not how it works in America. You can legally use the title doctor. Like, if you have a PhD, if you have a doctorate, guess what? You're a doctor. That's how that works. Does he have a PhD? Because if so, doctor. There is no, he can't legally do shit. He can. But I'm curious if there's any nuance to this position.
Which is to find out ways of making it at least legal in every one of the states in America for employers not to have to hire a smoker. And if it's messaged right, I care about you, I'm here for you, I'll pay for your smoking cessation, I want to hire you, but I can't do it if you're doing this, I think that message will actually resonate, as opposed to the finger-wagging fear that many have.
So you're willing to hire somebody who's a smoker, but you're forcing businesses to put on the extra expense. Because you're not just speaking from you at this point, though I don't know who Oz is going to be hiring himself. You're going to have businesses have the extra added on expense of paying for cessation therapy. Okay. Okay. So wait, what? Why would businesses ever pay for smoking cessation? Dunno. Especially considering the amount of people that use smoking as an actual, like, coping mechanism for work. Again, it's not super healthy, and it's really gross, but you're not going to be able to stop people from doing it. Isn't it funny that you have somebody like Oz who works with the Republicans all the time? The people who want there to be a smaller government that restricts people's freedoms less, and yet there are positions that he has held here that I wonder, again, if he still holds. That are just this authoritarian. Ivana Dragmeyer, thank you for redeeming your points, friend. You fucking degen. The armistice is on. As much as I wish people can't control people, be careful about that one, Anakin Skywalker. Careful about that one. Lord title, yes. Worshippers, probably. Yeah, prohibition doesn't tend to work very well. There's a little more to this, though. There's a little more to this. Let's listen.
But it works. People think they will accelerate their path up the corporate chain if they smoke. You know why they think that? It's true. People who smoke bond with smokers in the executive branch of their company, and they get accelerated up the path. All that said and done, we have to make it uncool to smoke, and it is a huge economic drain and a quality drain on the workforce as well.
So I want to agree. I want to agree with this position. I want to. But just stigmatizing smoking, pointing out that, you know, it's not a cool thing to do, it's a largely irresponsible thing to do. Like, doing that is not the same thing as saying, like, equality drain. No, quality. Like, he thinks that it's a drain of quality. Like, when you smoke, you're a lower quality worker to him. You're a lower quality person, which, again, doesn't make much sense to me, because that's just saying that you're a lower quality worker, I guess, because you have to take more frequent breaks. But then that would be a position that would also that would also cascade into anybody who had any kind of disability, and that would be a really awkward position for someone like Oz to have there. Weird. But I think this idea that he has that, like, if somebody is a smoker, they'll be a smoker to work themselves up the corporate ladder more. I have never heard that before. If you've heard that one before, please let me know. I have never heard that one ever in my life until right now. And this is a clip I would have thought I would have seen during Obama's presidency.
Not hiring smokers in your states, we estimate, would on average reduce your healthcare budget by about 15% within 5 years.
Yeah, because you just wouldn't be hiring people who were more at risk. But again, this means if you were to take these exact same concepts, they would naturally extend to anybody who has a disability, right? Don't hire people who have disabilities. Anubian says, what, healthcare? So remember, Oz here is talking about businesses. And businesses in America are one of the few avenues to healthcare that people have. Like, one of the reasons that I don't have healthcare is because YouTube and Twitch do not offer healthcare to the people who work with them. Because we're 1099, and 1099 people don't get healthcare. So, seeing what smoking does to my parents, I definitely wish people wouldn't smoke. It's really hard on people. Yeah, again, I wish they wouldn't either. But at the same time, like, what he's talking about here specifically is businesses. And one of the costs of running a business is healthcare for your full-time employees. So discrimination is Oz's game? Yeah, seems to be.
So once you have that ammo, then the question becomes, what are you going to do about it? And I would argue one smart thing to do is to do what hospitals have been able to do, and in 21 of the 50 states can be done now, which is you force people to hire smokers. It's an uncomfortable conversation.
Nobody's forced to hire a smoker, though. See, that's a weird thing. The language here seems to imply that a business, like, smoking is a protected class, and you have to have, like, some type of method in your business that forces you to hire those protected classes, and that smokers happen to be in that class. That's what the language says to me. Like, that is probably not the position he's holding, right? But the reality is, back in, what was this, 2008? Back then, it was not the case that smokers had to actually be hired. Like, you can choose not to hire somebody. That is a thing you as a business have always had the ability to do. For the most part. I said, Oz, buddy, you're going to get yourself having a bad time. No, I think most of his base have forgotten. I think a lot of them have forgotten about this. Or agree with it. Which, again, as somebody who has every reason to agree with this position, as somebody who finds smoking to be fucking disgusting, as somebody who has had tons of, like, some of my earliest memories as a kid are attending funerals of family members that I couldn't even remember who died of lung cancer. I remember watching my grandpa on his deathbed, unable to recognize who I was because of a combination of the pain and medication he was on. Like, I have every reason to agree with this stance. I just can't. Because, again, combination of things. One, it's untenable. Like, from a utilitarian perspective, you will not have a stable workforce when you just bar people out like that. Two, on top of that, you will not have businesses willing to pay those extra fees Like, you can't tell businesses, hey, we're going to cut your costs down here, but you're going to have to pay extra fees up front for that. No, most businesses are not going to do that, especially when they've got plenty of people lining up to get jobs. It's not going to happen. But also, from a moral standpoint, when I think of the other ways this will affect people, one, people who smoke, the number of people who smoke goes up the lower on the economic echelon you go, right? The closer you get to the bottom rung of our class system, the more smokers you will find. So this is going, like, as a policy like this will, by all means, mostly negatively affect people who are in the working class, who are in the lower echelons of the working class. But on top of that, there's ways in which this would affect people because the logic itself can be utilized for disabled people on top of that. So try to have a construction site function without hiring smokers. Yeah, best of luck with that one.
But I do think it gives you the clout to be able to dramatically reduce the amount of money you spend in your state on healthcare. And one day this will be true, I think, for the state employees as well, that they won't be allowed to smoke because it's just too darn expensive to cover those costs.
Yeah, that's totally not a position that's going to end up causing problems for anybody down the line. What about people who drink? A lot of the same costs get incurred there. What about people who, take any kinds of drugs? Nowadays, this wasn't as much of a thing back then, but nowadays, what about vaping? Like, where's the line there? Where do you actually have the line there? But also, it's not really the end of where the awkward takes with Oz can, it's not the end of those.
Go down to downtown Philadelphia. I see it a little bit in Pittsburgh now, too, but more in Philadelphia. There are whole blocks, multiple blocks of areas you can't go. There are addicts walking like zombies, into the streets with needles sticking out of their necks. Go down.
So, all right, before I get into that, one, Phantom Rem, thank you for redeeming your points for an Ara, because we are in the middle of an armistice. Thank you very much for that. Two, question, why the demonization of addicts there? I don't think people should be, addicted to addictive substances like, heavy drugs, especially after everything that happened with friends of mine who have had really awkward run-ins with people they cared about that were addicted to things like meth. But no, one, yeah, people don't shoot up in their necks. Generally speaking, that's just not a thing that most people can do very easily if you've ever seen how people actually shoot up drugs. Secondly, maybe I should give some perspective from somebody who grew up in a drug town. Maybe I should do that. Let's talk about addiction. What do you do to somebody who's an addict? Well, you give them assistance. You get them therapy. You try to get them off of the street, not demonize them. You try to help them adjust their lives. You know what helps with that a lot of the time? A job. A job helps with that a lot. Something about being able to be in a stable environment and be social around people tends to help addicts a lot. You know what tends to not? Demonizing them. Because you know where addicts tend to go when they are demonized sufficiently? They tend to go to places where they won't be demonized. Places where addicts don't get demonized as much? In and around other addicts for drugs. You literally create this problem. You will sink people deeper into whatever misfortune they are in right now because you are trying to oust them and ostracize them. The goal for people like Oz seems to be to create a culture where we can see things as better. You can go outside and you see the streets as cleaner. But the actual problem, the addicts, they didn't go away. They've just been moved somewhere they can't be seen as easily. I don't know when the GOP decided that limiting the rights of American people would be a winning strategy, except, oh, wait. If you're not new around here, you would know that that's a thing that tends to happen a lot. Tends to happen a fuck ton with the GOP. But I have to ask, when it comes to Oz, are these positions that he would still hold to right now? Probably, more than likely. I haven't seen any indication that he actually changes any of those positions at all. So when it wins them elections, literally gerrymandering. Yep, so it's all aesthetics, no actual policy, basically the 1950s. That's what it ends up being a lot. And it's really unfortunate because, like, from a utilitarian perspective, you want things to you want material conditions to improve. Changing how things look only affects your feelings. It changes how you feel about them, which can make you individually perform better, but society as a whole, you're not addressing the problems. You're not addressing them. You're not addressing, like, if people are smoking, why are they smoking more? Is it perhaps because of the infinite amounts of money that happen to come from tobacco companies that target young people? Why not focus on that? If you want to change the amount of smokers in the workforce, a material change you can do is severely limiting the ways in which tobacco agencies can advertise their product. This is a thing we've already done, and it has shown decent results. But making it to where if you smoke, you can't go to work? That's not going to do much. If it did, then it would stop people from doing cannabinoids when they're at a job that will fire them for smoking pot. But that doesn't really happen that often. Some people individually don't try to take the risk, but it doesn't change the amount of people who smoke weed. So I don't think it's going to change this. It seems to be, again, you're wanting the aesthetic, the idea that things are better so that you can latch onto those feelings. But the actual root of the issues, the advertising that leads to people smoking, the stress that leads to people looking for to it as a coping mechanism, the addiction that stems from the substances and the ways we don't actually properly control it here in the United States, none of that stuff is going to be looked at by Oz. No. The thing that makes him feel better is more important. So, but the tobacco lobby won't leave quarters under the pillow if they stop them from targeting kids. Jesus, remember candy cigarettes? Remember when that was a thing? What a weird time. What a weird time. That said, what do you guys think of in the comment section below? Definitely a different one. We're not looking at a current day issue, more looking at something from the past and kind of judging it very harshly. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. And as always, everyone, insert end of video tagline here.